let's talk a little bit about the book that Chris Dixon of Andreessen Horowitz came
Yeah,
out.
do not make up a cute shortened version of his name. C-Dix, don't do it.
I love what you did there, you know.
Yeah.
I have a feeling you've been thinking of that one. Like you were waiting to drop that.
Yep.
I feel like this wasn't even
Yep.
like 5 minutes ago. This was maybe like 5 weeks ago. You're like, we're going to talk about Chris Dixon. Oh, wait a minute. And it just came to you. This joke
Nope.
came to you, huh?
No,
was it on
it's-
our Vesta board?
No. Nope, not yet.
That's pretty good, though. I'm
Thank
sure he hasn't heard that before.
Hopefully not.
But anyways, Mr. Dixon
Yes.
of Andreessen Horowitz fame, he is kind of, you know,
Yeah.
Andreessen Horowitz has been able to create a sort of tech celebrity around some of their bigger GPs.
Yeah.
He's been running the crypto side. Katie Hahn was with him before she broke out and did her own solo crypto thing, which...
And got into regulation?
No, that was prior to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She was part of that whole DOJ Silk Road thing. And there's plenty of media out there about
Yeah.
Katie Hahn. She's done a really good job creating her brand.
Yeah.
But Chris Dixon, he wants to work on his brand too. So he came out with this book,
Yeah.
Read, Write, Own. So have you read it?
No. But you have.
I have. And I've been looking forward to it. I pre-ordered it because any media that looks of value that has to do with crypto, blockchain, future web, I'm interested in. I've read Bitcoin in the age of I forget the age of Bitcoin crypto. I'm butchering it, but we'll put it in our show notes. The name of the title. It was one of my first books that I read within the space because there wasn't many out.
Yeah.
And then there was NFTs Are A Scam by Bobby Kim. And Bobby Kim's really good at creating hype. I mean, he had that whole atom bomb drop, and then he was pulling it off OpenSea because they couldn't enforce the residuals of resales.
Oh, yeah.
And I loved him for it.
Yeah. I mean, that's still kind of the problem with it all.
Still, yeah, it's going to be an ongoing problem for a while because even though the smart contracts are there, they're not smart enough to enforce certain things.
Yeah.
And then if it's meta-based, like if you're doing, your metadata, that can be stripped out too. So there's workarounds to that. So yeah, there's a lot of solutions now. I mean, people always used to joke, especially in 2022, crypto's a solution in search of a problem. But now it's created problems that need solutions within itself.
Yeah.
So, it manifested their ability to need. But anyways, getting back to Chris Dixon's Read, Write, Own. I thought it was awesome for people who don't know about crypto or blockchain, especially blockchain, because that's what he really leans into. He does a good job with the history. If you're not interested in the history of tech, you potentially could find it boring, but it's awesome because it's so thorough. Now, is it, going to be on Oprah's, books? Probably not, because it doesn't have the same layman's, in my opinion, or the same kind of style to it that Bobby Hundreds can do with NFTs Are A Scam.
Yeah.
But Bobby's book doesn't necessarily give you the breadth of depth that Chris Dixon's book does. It's like I want those two to make out and create the baby that's really going to be the book that might really help it. I don't know if it'll become Atlas Shrugged or Dianetics, but I think if those two hook up, it could do something cool. But the book was awesome because it did. It provided so many thought pieces. One of the things that I love that he said is he talks about blockchain, and he's trying to compare it or trying to articulate it to people on the value of it. And people say, can't you build a building with wood? And you can.
Yeah.
But then when steel came out, you can build buildings with steel, but they're stronger. There's more benefit to it, right?
Yeah.
That's how he articulates blockchain. And you could build the same things that you have currently, but blockchain is that version. It's the steel to the wood.
Yeah.
And when I heard that, it was really good. There's a few sound bites like that. And I'm sure if you go through Twitter, you'll see plenty of people kind of articulating similar thoughts. But that one really resonated with me. He said a few things too that, I might have a difference of opinion, but he wrote a book, so it's harder to argue those because he wrote the whole damn thing. But having said that, I think it's a great read listen. I listen to it on Audible. People get pissed when I say I read, but then they're like, "Oh, so when do you read?" I'm like, "Well, I listen to it while I'm running."
Yeah.
Then they're like, "You're not reading."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Well, you got a point."
Yeah.
So I'm listening to it
Yeah.
on Audible. But do you have any questions about it? I mean, you're just sitting there letting me just
About a book?
Yeah.
No.
About a book. It's an audio book. Does that change it?
No.
Do you not like listening to audiobooks?
I do.
Okay, I was going to say.
How I ingest most of my reading, because we live in Los Angeles. You do now as well.
Yeah.
Which means that we have a lot of time in our cars, on the road, in the traffic.
The traffic.
I listen to a lot of, that's where I mainly consume most of my media is through podcasts, books. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've been riding the electric street bike. We don't need to go too far deep into that subject.
Yeah.
But it makes my trips quicker when I'm able to get there on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't get to listen to as much in that anymore. So I have to run more.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I highly recommend Read, Write, Own
Read,
to
Write,
anybody who wants to learn more about blockchain. It's
Okay.
really focused on blockchain because he has a lot of valid points in it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of thought-provoking just details in there, things to really get it going. Again, I have some contrast of opinions on certain things, but it doesn't matter. My contrast of opinion just doesn't matter in relation to that book because more people should read it than should not.
Like, what are you going to say that when he says, like, it's like building with steel? You can't refute that. You're like, okay.
I wouldn't want to.
what
I
about
like that
bricks?
analogy.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
like that analogy.
No, I feel you on that.
He like one of the things he says people say it's like an advanced spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he says, but it's so much more. It's a supercomputer. Yeah, it is. But I mean, Airtable is also a better version of Google Sheets, but it's still a spreadsheet. Just it has more power. Now, blockchain, I guess you'd say simplifying as just a simple spreadsheet.
Yeah.
You know, it's too oversimplification. But then you're just getting into semantics of which analogy is best.
Yeah.
Right? We're just trying to get people to adopt it. And I think his book will help with that. I think his book will be something that people cite and adopt as their own point of view because they don't have a point of view.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing because books usually do that. They help people crystallize their thoughts or at least arrive at opinions. Sometimes you could actually say that it doesn't work the way it's intended because if people read something that they like hearing enough,
Yeah.
it becomes their opinion without any real thought to it
Yeah.
or any challenge to it, which
That makes sense.
it has its own issues, but whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it'll help move the needle, or it should, right? He put some good stuff in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
I don't have a book that I can recommend right now.
If you want to see more, the link to the full episode is below. Please like and subscribe to be notified when new episodes become available.